Hey November, it's a game changer here, mate. Can I just fucking say what a breath of fresh air having you in my team is, mate? I tell you what, 95% in attack, 46% in defence. I know you said there's obviously some real life issues, mate, but I tell you what, I'll accommodate you every day of the week, mate. Look at today, man. Christ, you had to get me on the bloody game just to fucking top you off the leaderboard there with your rampage and attacks and stuff like that, mate. Absolutely superb, mate. So I'm really impressed with you, and I tell you what, I probably should be taking you up to Fox anytime soon, but I'm gonna keep you as long as I can, bro. Okay, so here we are at Novemberville. So I've not had a chance to scout your base in any way, shape, or form. So this is the first look as I see it. Maybe observations there. Spawn zones a little bit close. Makes the helipad vulnerable. I dare say. So maybe you could have a little look at that. It could be that that's what your aim is. To obviously have the helicopters a throwaway. But equally, you've got a throwaway on this side of obviously the barracks there. I dare say you can't hit both, can you? So I mean, I maybe get what you're thinking. Probably, which side are you going to choose to go from? Second observation I would say is, I attack with a lot more sort of firepower than you'll have at this moment because obviously I'm a 57, 58, whatever I am. And that generally means I've now CC8, so I've got HIMARS. Now, my critique for a lot of people's attack at the moment is railguns and howitzers don't outrange. Railguns, to be fair, don't outrange much, do they? Let's be honest. You know that. You obviously, if you're using M270s, which you will be, are you going to be bothered about a railgun? Are you going to be that bothered about a howitzer? Yes, it's powered up, but possibly not. You are very sort of howitzer and railgun method. Now, what I would generally look at doing is I would do a drive-by, which means your howitzer wouldn't lock on, and I'd be trying to take you out then with my M270s or similar vehicle. I mean, you can say the same about Peacemaker, but if you look at a Peacemaker range compared to a howitzer, I mean, it's unreal. But if you take both of those turrets out of the equation and swap that for salvo, a salvo will actually lock on. You cannot bait a salvo. You cannot drive away and make it fire where you were. It locks onto you. And also when you're pulling away, when you're thinking, shit, when a salvo's got you, it seems to extend its range beyond what it should, if you were in its range in the first place because the lock on. So I'd maybe suggest having a little bit more orientation towards salvo. I'd probably suggest having a little bit more orientation towards Peacemaker and things along that sort of line as well. And I would say, although your defense stats are very high, you have stepped up a level, and we need to obviously react to that. And I can't say enough, mate, how impressed I've been with everything that I've seen so far. I mean, when I look at your attack and what you've got in your sort of arsenal, it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm really pleased, as I say, to have you in the team. I quite like you hiding that behind. Here. It's a little bit more difficult to see what you've got in defence. Now, I know you've got Zeus in there, so that's going to come out after, 7 seconds, 14 tops if you've got 2 in the slot. So that's going to give you additional air support. You've got Avengers obviously circling, which are a lot more difficult to take out than the Raptors and things along that sort of line. But where I would ask you to have a little look at, so think about your walls and the size of your base. If you ditch the non-essentials, so do you need to protect an oil what to call them, an oil pump by walls? Not really. So get that outside your walls. Do you really need your airport? your airfield inside the walls. Well, you know what I mean, unless you've got spooky, you know, most things would come out of that in seconds, so you could probably get that and risk that being a bit more vulnerable. And what I'm trying to get to is the fact that if you could take out the non-essentials, so oil pumps, power plants, airfields, you can actually reduce the overall size of the base. Now, that does make you vulnerable in some respects. You know, people say, "Oh, I'm going to get nuked." Well, you know what? If you get nuked, you get nuked, don't you? There's not a lot you can do about a nuke. But if you reduce the overall size of the base, the net result of that would be, let's play devil's advocate. I'm going to come at you from this side. Yeah, first side I can think of. I'm going to hit you with that howitzer. That machine gun's probably not going to pick me up. That's probably not going to pick us up. You know what I mean? You're vulnerable for the ability to take out one turret at a time. If I come from this side, I could hit that. That wouldn't pick us up. You know, I could outrange it. So if I come at you from this side won't know I'm there, and that's the thing with a large base format. You know, you can kind of travel around, take your time, as long as you do it within your minutes. You can clean up fairly quickly. Now, obviously, it's working because your defence stats are high, but I do suspect that now you've stepped up and you get some bigger players coming at you. So if you're 46, 56 now can hit you and then take your money. So you need to be sort of just changing the way that defence works. And it's same with mine placements. I'm in two mines. I can't quite get my head around it, but I have been trying to put my minds where I think M270s would hit us from and the like. So I've actually had them further out of my base. That said, obviously, when you do get past them, they're no longer a threat. So, you know, I keep changing my mind on that. But have a little think about that. If you do get attacked, watch your replay videos. You know, could you tweak the mine? Is it a fraction there, fraction here? What would have worked better? Always is spotted coming from that angle. Maybe I need to do it. I mean, again, if you think if I come from here and I go up and over, I could probably, in fact. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to cover it. I do get it. But you really would probably want to mine in this sort of area here, because the first thing I ever want to hit on anybody's base, especially yours with things like with Zeus and tanks in it, you know, I really want to protect that war factory as soon as I can. And the fact that you possibly have the option to get up and over is obviously tempting for me to try and go that way. I mean, all I'd have to do is stand there long enough, you know, with a tank and then hit you with the M270 and I'm up and over. So for me, just be trying to think about what people might want to do. And I think you could really increase your base defence, you know, quite a bit, and certainly make it even more effective at this level. Things I do like, snipers. Again, you're thinking about anti-air, which is excellent. You've got Zeus in there again, anti-air. Do you know what? So many people in this team have not got Zeus. They must have missed when it come out. Where, you know, I love the Zeus. I mean, this isn't my attack now that you can see. I'll generally have 2 Merc, Heimers or M270s before that, and then 2 or 3 Zeus. Because I mean, you know yourself, they're absolutely devastating in attack. At bringing down choppers, mowing down rows of infantry, and of course, you know, the planes you've got circling there would be vulnerable, wouldn't they? So I mean, it really is a good defence strategy and attack strategy. So it's great that you've got them, and I believe the level 10 if I remember the screenshots. So listen, mate, you keep up this absolutely fantastic work. I'll keep guiding you this way. We'll do a lot of coaching in my team, mate. I think that's really where we're at, and I know you probably got that in CC6 as well. But hopefully you'll see things that I certainly want to do a little bit different. Thanks, brother. Take care.